It's best not to think of the algorithm as a precognitive or sentient AI. The reality is that the algorithm for each website is a very logical and straightforward set of steps that construct a body of information that would be compelling to a user. The first step is to aggregate information from various sources. This could be posts from the users you follow, this could be your search history, this could be how many times you've liked or clicked on a group post. This could be advertisements relative to your demographic or other user posts that are popular amongst your demographic. Once content has been aggregated, the next step is filtering it. This is about eliciting reaction. By using information from the first step, the content is prioritized based on its ability to motivate a user to engage with it. And finally, the content is ordered in a way that the flow of posts are varied and compel you to continue scrolling or reading to see what happens next. This isn't an absolute model of how every algorithm works. I haven't personally seen the code for Facebook or YouTube's algorithm, but fundamentally, these steps need to be taken into account when constructing a feed. One thing that's fundamentally and intentionally overlooked by the algorithm is what I call purpose of engagement, which boils down to why is the user engaging with the content? It's not that I don't think companies are aware of this question, it's just that they don't care. This creates some very unhealthy psychological cruxes for people. Something like 70% of people now get news through some form of social media. Yet these platforms are truly ruled by confirmation bias, echo chambers, pessimism, and outrage. Let's start with confirmation bias. Confirmation bias means you tend to highlight information that supports your own opinion, essentially. But when it comes to social media, which is a flow of support groups and news articles and advertisements that are less focused on the social aspect and more focused on the media aspect, you'll tend to interact with the ones you agree with and be flooded with suggested content that feeds into your confirmation bias. This creates an echo chamber where your views and ideas are never challenged. The worst part of this is that many people in groups are aware of this and create legitimate cult-like content that condemns critical thinking. These people intentionally foster a homogeneous hive mind mentality. By the time your echo chamber has been constructed, everything in your information flow is reinforcing your thought process, and these people are free to slant or doctor any information they want when presenting to you. You can see this happen in so many places. It's honestly pretty scary. For example, let's take a look at men and women's lifestyle content. Many public figures in this space engage in blatant misogyny or misandry because it preys upon vulnerabilities, appeals to a victim complex, and just generally draws attention and reactions. What begins with you looking for exercise, relationship, or lifestyle advice can lead to suggestions and feeds full of extremist propaganda. And trust me, once you watch one of these videos, whether you agree or disagree or like it or dislike it, your feed will be full of it. Whatever psychological issues or trauma you may have, or did have at one point, there is guaranteed a coach or guru out there uploading daily 10-minute videos that reinforce that victim complex through a lens of self-help. The scary part about this is that it can be found everywhere. For example, recently I've been learning a second language. I found a video of someone speaking 12 languages in a video game, which I thought was really cool, and so I started watching more videos and read some articles, and lo and behold, Google starts offering me Learn Language QuickBooks and is stocking my YouTube front page with sensational titles with millions of views. Essentially, every industry, every hobby, every point of view that could compel someone to give over their time and resources will be turned into a monetization honeypot. If there is even an inkling of a chance that you could be receptive to their marketing, the algorithm is going to prioritize that content very highly. Oftentimes, these creators or third parties are incentivizing these platforms to do so. That's their ad revenue. And thus, the echo chamber is born. This really frightens me when it comes to the younger generation because we're much more prone to look towards the internet when it comes to advice and for information. But there's a flip side to the coin. Fear-mongering and pointed opinions are among the lowest hanging fruit when it comes to social media posts, in my opinion. In the last situation, the echo chamber has an end game, like a philosophy and a product, and as diabolical and evil as it is, it seems to carry more of a rhyme and a reason than simply agitating people into engagement. But that's exactly what this is. News outlets are notorious for this, but another great example are memes. I would say from what I see, the vast majority of memes are actually trying to be funny, but some are still used to share like cringeworthy political statements and social stances. In effect, both news articles and memes are achieving the same result. They're encouraging engagement with the post by antagonizing you with little to no potential impact for the author. Sorry to say, but Fox News, NPR, and CBS do not read your comments on their Facebook articles. And I've hardly ever seen any intelligent discourse between users in the comment section either. Same thing with memes. It's an entirely unconstructive endeavor, but once you engage in it, the algorithm begins to prioritize this content on your feed. So let's revisit the previous statement. One thing that is fundamentally and intentionally overlooked by the algorithm is purpose of engagement. Why is the user engaging in the content? They don't care. This really frightens me when it comes to the older generation. They weren't given the same exposure to the internet as we were, and that said, a lot of this is probably common knowledge for most people, and I would wager the older generation has dealt with it in their own way in their own time. Cults have always existed, news headlines have always been opinionated, but it has never been as pervasive and accessible as it is now. And without a working knowledge of the internet, it's very easy to feel frustrated and upset when trying to use a tool that's ultimately supposed to help us communicate better. So what to do? First of all, stop investing so much time into social media. Second, stop using your feed so much. Go directly to a YouTube channel you like and watch their videos. Go directly to a Facebook profile and see what someone's been up to. You'll probably notice you've missed several updates from them because the algorithm deemed them low engagement. A lot of these things can be set up to send you notifications when there's new content available, so you don't have to rely on your feed. Lastly, stop arguing with people you don't know personally on posts where the authors have no accountability. If you're frustrated about something, find someone willing to have a constructive discussion with you. You shouldn't be using an app if all it does is make you feel angry. Also, if you're a diehard fan of the algorithm and you really want Big Brother to keep spoon-feeding you opinions, there are some things you can do to alter the algorithm for your profile. It depends on the platform, but for Facebook, you can click the menu drop down on the post, and there are some options allowing you to filter out similar content. I honestly hope they implement more transparent filtering when it comes to the algorithm, but I find it unlikely considering the millions of dollars these companies make with targeted marketing. I still think decentralized social media would become a new norm in the approaching future, but until then, try to acknowledge your own biased internet activity so the algorithm can't take advantage of you.